presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game. Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, a joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Let's do just that. It's a busy day around Oregon Athletics. Also a busy weekend coming up here around the University of Oregon. Welcome inside, Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Inside the Country Financial Studio, Saul Gavon in for Joey and Mac. A lot to talk about, to break down as well. Oregon baseball got a big-time win last night over Gonzaga. 4-3 the final score. That one was a big time for Mark Wazakowski's squad. Also, Joey sat down with Coach Melyssa Lombardi previewing this weekend's matchup against UCLA. We'll have that coming up in just a little bit. Missed Athletic Director Tuesday yesterday, but we pivoted. Damo Merkerson joined Joey Mack at the Country Financial Studio. That's coming up as well. And a bunch of football and baseball interviews as well. Just really a lot going on around the University of Oregon, or Oregon athletics in general, but it's springtime. That's always when everything is happening. We begin today's show, though, with some updates on women's golf. 4 members of the Oregon women's golf team earned postseason honors from the Big Ten on Wednesday, including a pair of first-team all-conference selections in Kiara Romero and Tong Un. Romero earned first-team all-conference honors for the 3rd time in her career, while Un was named to the first team after earning second-team recognition as a freshman last season. Sophia Hahn landed on the All-Big Ten second team and the inaugural Big Ten All-Freshman team, and Dara Chung was honored as Oregon's Big Ten Sportsmanship Award recipient. The number 8 Ducks will lean to their NCAA regional on Wednesday, when the NCAA golf selection begins at 1 o'clock Central. So right now, actually, we will have an update throughout this entire show. The Eric Riley squad has put together a pretty good resume throughout these last couple weeks, so they should be one of those top seeds. But, again, waiting for that announcement here coming up today, just past 1 o'clock. Talking about big-time matchups and postseason as well, Oregon softball getting ready for postseason coming up. They have a big series against UCLA, and I'll just be frank, this is going to be a big one. This is probably a heavyweight battle. I think Coach Lombardi, who sat down with Joey Mack here coming up in just a second, they know that this is an important one right now. Ducks are still chasing a Big Ten regular season title right now. The way the standings are racking up right now, Nebraska is at number 1. UCLA, who they're going to play this weekend, is number 2, and the Ducks are taking number 3. The Ducks can put together some wins down the stretch, especially against UCLA. Not only will they have the opportunity for a Big Ten title, but also a better chance to host some postseason softball at the Jane. Ducks right now number 9 in the RPI, or UCLA at 7, so this is a big one. On the road as well, they're going to head down to Westwood, and I think the Ducks are prepared for this one. Oregon hasn't lost a series yet in Big Ten play. That's important. That's something that they've stressed all year long. They want to keep that streak going, and things maybe got a little bit dicey against Ohio State, but this team knows how to respond. They haven't lost 2 straight in Big Ten this year. Last year, they didn't lose 2 straight the entire season. So this is a team that really knows how to be resilient. They know what it takes to win a Big Ten regular season title. I think Coach Lombardi knows that, as well as a lot of the players. It was senior weekend last weekend. Really celebrated a lot of the work of the seniors, and, well, now they want to keep playing. Coach Lombardi even said it on the mic afterwards that they do not want that to be the last time they played at the Jane. They expect to be back there in a couple of weeks for the regional, and then if things work out, maybe even a super regional, always want to have postseason softball run through your home stadium. But Coach Lombardi caught up with Joey Mack yesterday, so here's that conversation with you to start off today's show.
We are down the home stretch of Duck softball season. Coach Lombardi in the Country Financial Studio after a weekend series win. Coach, can never take for granted winning series. It's really hard to do, right?
It is. It's really hard to do, but that's it. That's what you need to do to continue, and I love that we got the series.
Well, and to talk through the series as a whole, you maybe don't play your best softball Friday, but then what a turn on Saturday and Sunday. What was your breakdown of the series?
I agree. I don't like the way we competed on Friday. You know, they did everything they needed to do to get the win, but I didn't really care for how we competed, and our team would say the same thing. So what I love about every version that I have been a part of in these 8 seasons is that anytime we don't get something or we don't like something, these guys always respond. Like, that is so big, is the ability to respond, and they responded big on Saturday.
They sure did. I mean, you get down in the early innings, and then yet it turned very quickly. Like, what was that game like on Saturday for y'all, that response from your team?
It was a big one because, they came off first pitch of the game and hit a bomb.
Right.
And then we just had an inning that did not go our way, a couple things that just didn't go our way. And at that time, they came off the field. And from there, it was just, we were in the heat of the moment. We still have a lot of innings left. We can come back and win this game, but where's your mindset? And we talk a lot about having a red mindset, having a blue mindset. Red is not good.
Right.
Red,
it's like the bull seeing red.
Yeah,
right?
you're caught up in everything else. You can't get to where you need to get to as an individual and as a team. Blue, you get there, you reset, you recover, and you continue. And I asked them that after that tough inning that we had, and they did it.
They sure did.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting. You talk about like the mentality that it takes throughout the course of a season, a game, but in an individual game, like to break it down like that. I don't know. I think that's interesting. You're coaching them like that. It sounds like.
Yeah, the mentality piece is so important. That team has a lot of power. Our goal was going into the weekend, look, we know we're going to give up some home runs, but can we keep them to solos? Can you from there do the next right thing? So to watch, that happen with Elise, and then she strike out the side. Us make an error and then to be able to come in offensively and reset and go. It's that next right thing mentality, and when you have a blue mindset, it allows you to do that.
Cool. And then on Sunday, to win the series, a critical game, right? And there's obviously some emotions with senior day, but you're not anticipating the last game at the Jane. There's a lot to unpack there, right? But just take us through Sunday then.
Sunday, just special, really special day. Anytime we get to celebrate our seniors have been such just great women for us, great teammates, people, friends, just the leadership that they've displayed all year, how much they care about this program. They want to leave this program better than they found it, and each one of them are certainly doing that. So to celebrate them and their families, Oregon softball, to celebrate our fans and what they've done for us all year, it was a great day.
How about the fans too? I mean, you talk about a team needing to be in a blue mindset. The fans helped you get there, I think.
Absolutely. You know what I love about our fans is they don't leave. Like, we get behind, they do not leave. They know that we are going to come back and win, and they could easily be like, oh, not our day. And they don't. They sit there and they wait, and they know that it's coming, and I love that.
Well, isn't it cool, though, to think about, like, the difference that y'all make, one, as fans, but then, two, like, to your point, Coach, the education of the fan base. These are smart softball fans that come to the Jane. Are you smiling as I'm saying that? Like, like they're getting into these moments that makes a difference for your squad.
It is. You get to see the belief that our fans have in us, and it's just been so cool watching them get behind us every game, and just the energy and the noise and just the Lion's Den Jane's sanity that they provide us. It goes such a long way for us.
Yeah. Okay, so senior day. I mentioned like there's some mixed emotions, right? Because the RPI is in a good spot. Those of you that are like, wait, RPI, Joey, remember, what are you talking about? Okay, down the home stretch, we talk about things like the RPI because the committee uses that to evaluate who the 16 host sites are going to be. Ducks are in a good position to host a regional coming up. That means more games at the Jane. But I can say last regular season game, which has some emotion to it for your seniors, doesn't it?
It does. It's our last guaranteed game at the Jane. Nothing's guaranteed. It's our last one, and we understand that. So just to watch them go out the way they did on Sunday, I loved the way our team played. I loved the way Taylor shoved on the mound. She was brilliant. She did such a good job of just having a large spread of her hard stuff to her soft. Like, you could see them kind of get in between what she was doing, and it was great.
We've talked a lot about Lindsey Grine and Elise Sokolsky lately, but man, Taylor Spencer, what a difference that could be down the stretch if she pitches like that.
Huge. We need her. And so just seeing what she could do and loved her changing speeds and just the way she competes on the mound, that was really, really big to see her.
Talking softball with Coach Lombardi. Okay, I want to zoom out a bit with the context of this question. So we've discussed how professional softball, right, is becoming more and more common. More people are tuning in. And the way that it works with the Athlete Unlimited Softball League, they also have a reserve pool in addition to those golden tickets that we talked about last week. Elon Butler, Lindsey Grine, Elise Sokolsky. you got to tell them that they all got selected for that, which had to be pretty cool.
Yes, at the end, once we finished all of our festivities, I got to share the news with them, and the three of them were so excited, very deserving. Those three are going to continue on.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity, pro opportunity for them, and they will continue on. But to see that they have an opportunity with AUSL, I know they were extremely excited about.
To the point of like the growth of the game too, Coach, if I could take this moment to ask you, like you're smiling even as I'm asking you this question, like you got to love seeing more and more pro opportunities, right? Like it's so cool for the sport.
Absolutely. Softball athletes should be able to play as long as they want, just like every other sport.
I'm with you.
There should be no timeline. We should not have to have a second job. None of that. We should be able to play and get paid for the elite, their eliteness.
And and to that point, like the fans at the Jane, like you're starting to build that, I feel like, in some of these pro communities.
Yeah.
Right?
No, definitely. I think softball fans in general just appreciate really, really good softball, and they support us in the college scene. They support us in the pro scene. I'm so excited for Cascade. It's going to be such a great summer to go watch those guys in Portland play. Paige Sinicki, to see her out there, like it's going to be great.
Paige Sinicki, it's funny, Coach. We were just talking. She came up on a show lately. We were talking about how we had Bryce Betcher, right, featured at Autzen Stadium and at PK Park. Andy has been around the Jane, like he's been everywhere. And I started trying to think, like, who's another athlete that just has bounced around to all these different places and really embraced Paige Sinicki? Yes. Like, I felt like I saw Paige Sinicki at every athletic event over the course of her time, and that's just one of many examples, I feel like, of how the sport has grown. It's going to be so cool to see it moving forward.
Very much.
Anytime Paige gets to come back, it's a good thing.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Talk about alumni weekend. Okay, a couple individuals. Emma Cox. Yeah. Coach, she's been on a tear of late. What's been clicking for Emma Cox lately?
The best way I've been able to describe it is I just think in their careers, each one of them have opportunity, like points in their career where just there's a little aha moment where all of a sudden all the stars align and things just make sense. And what used to be really difficult, I don't want to say becomes easy. They just understand how to go about it in a different way and just continue to repeat. And that's what you're seeing with Emma.
Boy, I mean, it's hard to do it offensively and catch, I feel like, as well as she's caught. Right. I mean, that you talk about how like the first priority often for a catcher is defense and working with the pitching staff, and then the offense comes too. I mean, that put in words for fans if you could, like how difficult is that balance for the catcher position?
It is difficult because as a catcher, you're constantly in a squat. And, she's continuing to catch game after game. And so lots of times as a hitter, the first thing that goes is your legs.
Right.
And then it has an effect on you offensively. And so one, that just tells you how great of shape that she's in and the work that Coach KJ does with her and with Brace and Trin and everybody. But two, to be able to handle our pitchers, to be able to have the arm, runners are not going. Nobody is running on her. And then on top of that, to have the power and the average to go along with it. So she's put in a lot of hard work, and it's not just physical work, it's that mental piece as well. Like that mental piece is such a big part of what these guys do. In college, physically, everybody has it. It's the mental piece that takes you to another level.
Yeah, the hard work sure is paying off, at least according to the stats of late. How about K-Dub, too? I mean, I know like hitting a home run maybe isn't necessarily on the bingo card for her every day, but boy, she hit the snot out of that one, didn't she?
Every bomb she's hit, she's absolutely crushed.
Yeah.
Every one. So she's got the power. And, it happens. Like she's been hitting great for us all year, and sometimes you just get you have some lows, and it's just a part of the game. And I think it was great to see her get that.
Boy, it's you get one off the scoreboard, and it's always kind of fun.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that means something. Okay, so we talk about RPI, the race in the Big Ten. A reminder for fans, if you missed the news earlier this week, all of the 3 games against UCLA have now been selected for Big Ten Network broadcast. That means a 4 o'clock start on Friday, 1:30 start on Saturday, and an 11 a.m. start on Sunday. Saul Galvan's also making the trip. He'll have the hometown call on KWVA here in the Eugene area. Big Ten race, UCLA.
Yep.
Need I say more?
No. Just for us, our goal was to be heading to our final weekend in the Big Ten, competing for a Big Ten championship.
And you are.
And we
right?
are.
Do you talk about the way that things stack up just for fans? Like if Nebraska falters a little and then Ducks take care of business against UCLA, and then next thing you know, those standings, they're going to change.
Yes, definitely. It's always to the last weekend,
Yeah.
I can remember last year.
Yeah.
So it's like it's about us going and taking care of our business, doing our thing.
What's the report on UCLA? Tell fans a bit about the Bruins.
Just UCLA is always UCLA. Powerful. They've got a lot of power this year. I mean, it's just it's the same thing. Like playing Ohio State and the power that they had. Can we keep the ball in the park? Can we keep it to a solo? It's the same thing with UCLA. They've got some great athletes over there. So it's going to be two top contenders going after it.
Is it safe to say that this is kind of like a super regional at the end of the year? I mean, it feels a little like playoff softball with the competition level here down the stretch.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
You also embrace a road test, don't you? I mean, look, playing at the Chain is the best. Don't get me wrong. But your team's been good on the road this year, Coach. How have they been able to do that?
I think they understand the importance of showing that we have the ability to win on the home. We don't need to be to win on the road. We don't need to be at home to win. We need to be able to find different ways to win, and to do that while we're on the road. So these guys understand, they understand that you got to be able to do things on the road, and I think they've showed that all year.
At UCLA on the road this weekend. Sum it up for fans, some keys to success.
Keys to success, I would say for us, be timely with our hitting. Like one thing we've been doing a really good job of is getting the scoring runs early in the early innings. So to continue to do that, how quickly can we get to the bullpen? And then it's pitching and defense giving us an opportunity to win the ball game.
Coach Lombardi, Ducks on the road at UCLA. Playoff softball. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Playoff-style softball. That's what it's going to be this weekend, really, against UCLA. This is a big-time matchup between a couple of top 25 teams right now. And, look, if the Ducks can get some wins, you never know what can happen, right? You sneak in that top 8 RPI, and then postseason softball would have to run to the J.M. It's going to be a fun and exciting weekend. Again, if you didn't know, the schedule will change. All 3 games got picked up by Big Ten Network. So Friday will be at 4 o'clock, Saturday at 1:30, and Sunday at 11 a.m. So please note the time difference. From one diamond to another, though, Oregon baseball, big-time win yesterday against Gonzaga. We're talking with head coach Mark Wazakowski when we come back here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Friday, Toyota says let's put good times in gear with the Tundra, Tacoma, and 4Runner. Want some cool available features? We've got power tailgates to power game days and a trailer backup guide that's the champ of the ramp. Heck, we might even cancel Monday. Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best thing you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Back at the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Saul Galvan here with you. Oregon baseball last night got a big-time win against Gonzaga, 4-3 the final score, and what I would like to call a team win. Ducks used 9 different pitchers. Yes, you heard that right. 9 different pitchers. It was a bullpen game from the start. Michael Mechna got the start. Jonah Barkov came in. Cooper Markham, Shane Johnson, Gabe Howard, Luke Morgan, Toby Twist, Tanner Bradley, and Devin Bell. I think I got everybody right. I think I got everybody right there. That was 9. Ducks used 9 different pitchers and ultimately won the ball game right there. They only gave up 3 runs to Gonzaga, and that's a good win against a tough Bulldog team. Gonzaga went into the game with the longest win streak in the country with 14 games, and Ducks also had a 5-game winning streak. So one of those was bound to lose. Ducks made sure that theirs kept going here last night. Angel Laya also hit a home run in the first inning, and really just a couple of early runs for the Ducks, some mistakes made by Gonzaga, and they took advantage of it. And then, like mentioned, the bullpen just shut things out really from start to finish. Gonzaga did have a later run in the innings, but outside of that, Ducks really looked really good heading into a big Washington series this weekend and then UCLA next weekend. Also, some critical series coming up here for Oregon baseball as they're trying to make a push towards postseason play. That was a top 35 win in the RPI. So the Ducks, imagine that they move up a couple spots coming up this week, and then they can stack up some wins against Washington and UCLA. You never know what can happen, right? The standings always get a little weird around this time of the year, and especially in Big Ten play. Ducks are sitting pretty good right now, top 4. And if they stay like that, could find themselves a bye in the first round of the tournament. After the game yesterday, Coach Mark Wasikowski caught up with the media. Just a lot to take away from a really good quality win midweek against Gonzaga. And, well, 9 pitchers. It's never a bad thing when you're able to get all 9 out there, and they all pitch pretty much almost a shutout inning. Team win, 4-3 the final score. Here's Coach Mark Wasikowski after the game yesterday.
Could you just give us your takeaways from today? Good Gonzaga team, 20-plus win team, and got the one win.
Yeah, really good team, right? I mean, I think every arm that they threw from probably the second inning on was 93-plus that had command of a secondary pitch. I mean, those guys are good. You know, there's a reason why they won 14 straight before today, and it wasn't luck. You know, I mean, they're an old club. They've got some real dangerous hitters in that group. And you had to make pitches. You know, I mean, Coach Flo, credit to him, and Straley for getting those guys ready. We pitched 9 guys today again in the midweek, and by and large, those guys were all really productive.
How important was an early start? A team that's won 14 in a row to sort of capture the momentum early in the game?
Well, I mean, they started earlier than we started, right? I think they scored in the first inning, and then we were able to come back and get that 3. I think that was huge for us, you know. And I mean, it was a lot of just small stuff, just a couple of sac flies. I think Angel got one big swing off in there to where it was a home run. But other than that, it was just really good at-bats. Jack Brooks setting the table, you know, going after they score there in the top of the first. Him setting the tone with a 2-strike opposite field double and a left center field gap I thought was awesome. And I don't know, I just thought it was a team win. There were a lot of guys, you know, Tyler Jones gets his first career hit as a Duck, first start. You know, Tyler Hawley out there really contributing. You know, and he's not an everyday player for us right now, but he's a really good player, and those guys have prepared well. I think we used not quite everybody off the bench, but a lot of guys were involved in that win today.
Can you dive a little bit more into the Tylers specifically, getting both their first starts of the season, how you feel like they performed and what they gave to you here in midweek?
They've been killing it in practice. They earned everything that they've gotten in practice, and so it was pretty easy. We have a saying that the game knows, and it's just basically a saying that says if you've put in the work, you're probably going to get rewarded by the game of baseball because it respects hard work and discipline and effort, and that's what those guys are. You know, they haven't, for different reasons, they haven't played. Tyler Jones has a lot of injury stuff that he had early on, and but neither one of those guys backed off from the work. They've been killing it in all their practices, and they deserved starts today, and they played really well.
Coach, your freshmen have been absolutely lethal this season. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've seen off the field that translates to how they play on the field?
Well, they do. You know, I mean, start with school. I think, by and large, I don't know what the overall GPA of that freshman class is, but it's probably setting a record. There's several guys that are 4.0 students in that and that are starting and getting a lot of credit. You know, they don't do anything wrong. You know, haven't been late for breakfasts or team functions or, you know, anything like that. There's no violation of team rules going on with those guys. Haven't had issues in the community whatsoever, negative stuff with them. They seem very respectful. I mean, you credit the parents quite a bit. And they came in here to be baseball players and great student athletes. They value their education at the University of Oregon. And I mean, they're very good students. They're taking heavy loads. It isn't like they're coming in here as a jock going underwater basket weaving majors. I mean, these guys are going 15 to 20 credits each term, and they're killing it. You know, a couple of these freshmen that you see every day that could be All-Americans, are actually probably going to be next year as sophomores jumping into their junior year in terms of the classes that they've, the number of credits that they've passed already, earning towards degrees. So these guys are on track to graduating in less than 4 years, as well as being All-Americans on the field. So where does it start? That's a fantastic question, because it clearly starts before they get on that field. The discipline they're showing is pretty extreme.
Is there any update on Jax or Cooney? Any reason why they weren't in the lineup today?
Well, they weren't available to play today. That's why they weren't in the lineup.
Is there any update on Cascalari after he was taken out by the training last week?
He's available. He's available, and I think you're going to be seeing him, whoever we play next. He'll be, and he's been on each one of the last couple of trips too, or eligible rosters, and so he's eligible to pitch. And I'm sure you'll be seeing him probably this coming weekend.
Was the plan always to do a bullpen day today?
I think so, yeah. I mean, we really are trying to get those younger guys, because you can tell how talented they are. And when you don't pitch them, then they feel like you don't have confidence in them. And so we're just going to throw them out there and show them that we have confidence in them. And it seems like that they've taken that message, and they're pitching the ball really well, which is cool.
Yeah. In that eighth inning, Tanner, bases loaded, decided to keep him in. What kind of went into that? How much faith do you have in the guy?
He's our best guy. It's 100% faith. And for him to, he struck 3 guys out in the inning. He walked 2. He was pitching in yellow against one of their guys who was hitting .421 coming into the game. The guy's he's a stud. They're DH. He also plays outfield and first base. But that guy's been a really good hitter for him this year. The Bell kid at third base, he made a tremendous play on Drew Smith's drag bunt. He's a heck of a player. They've got guys that are really, really good players over there on that side. And it's not just 1 or 2 guys. And those arms that they were throwing, pretty spectacular. Really, really credit to the coaching staff over at Gonzaga for consistently having a program that has high RPIs. They're winning their conference. They do a tremendous job. They're a good program.
Jonah Barkoff made his first outing of the season today. Just for him, his scoreless frame, just your assessment.
Super competitive kid. It was crushing when we, lost him due to injury early in the year, and now he's back, right? And you see how competitive and talented he is, which is huge for us to get a lift like that down the stretch run. I think is really important for Tyler Jones to be healthy now to where he can contribute. I think it's really, really important. He's a really good baseball player. He's a high IQ, and he's a tough kid. Probably comes from his mom. But, nevertheless, to get those 2 guys in the mix is really important for us.
I believe there's 3 of the pitchers you guys used today are Oregon natives. Could you just talk about recruiting in the state and just what the build-up of high school Oregon baseball was like?
Well, I'd like to boast about that, but I don't think I will. They had a couple of Oregon pitchers that must have gotten away from us because they pitched really well today too. There's a lot of really good high school coaches in our state, and it's clear, both sides today had Oregon players playing on that field and excelling, and credit to the high school coaches in the state of Oregon. I wish all the best players were playing at the University of Oregon instead of other schools. But sometimes they do a great job, and they recruit them too, and they develop them really good. And that's the case with Gonzaga. And I was impressed with the number of really good Oregon players on the field, and we had a really good Oregon player on the bench today with Ryan Cooney, who's a tremendous player. But the state of Oregon and high school baseball and the job that the coaches do around here is insane.
Washington coming up on the schedule next weekend. Just your thoughts on the Huskies and the rivalry series coming up?
Don't know. Haven't even gotten to it. I'll start chipping away at that now after we get probably a little bit of a workout or something like that in tonight, and then afterwards, then we'll get into Washington. But there's no doubt we want to beat Washington.
Beat the Huskies. Always want to beat the Huskies, especially on the road. Oregon baseball with a big-time series coming up against Washington. Joey Max got the call here across the Oregon Sports Network. We'll take a time out. When we come back, Joey caught up with Senior Associate Athletic Director Damo Merkerson. A conversation coming up after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You say you never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands up and throw my head back and come on now. Don't forget to say you will.
We're back in the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Yesterday, before the baseball game, Joey sat down with the Associate Athletic Director, Damon Merkerson. We didn't have an Athletic Director Tuesday because of baseball, but I was even asking Joe, I was like, hey, Joey, are we going to skip Athletic Director Tuesday? No, we pivot, he says. Able to record the conversation yesterday, so we'll get to that right now. 2 parts. Here's part 1 with the Senior Associate Athletic Director, Damon Merkerson.
Damon Merkerson joins us in the Country Financial Studio. We had a conversation a little inside the broadcast. So baseball moved up the game, and so I said, Damon, we still got to get you on the show this week. Now, sometimes it would be Damon Merkerson and friends. Mm-hmm. However, graduation's upcoming, and there's midterms this week.
Yes, there is.
And we moved the schedule around. So I just want to say thanks for adjusting and coming on. How are you?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here. Excited. Love coming through to the studio with my people. So,
right.
Yeah, it's a good time, man.
Do you have a new rendition of the jingle for us, even though you don't have a friend, or you want to wait until next term when there's a friend on?
Let me wait till next term. I don't want to give away the surprise.
Don't give away the surprise. I like it. Okay, covering a lot today because there's so many great initiatives actually happening right around the University of Oregon that I want to get into. We'll check in on the sports that you oversee as well, Damon, but the Black Student Athlete Summit. Let's start there. So this is something that we've been talking about. You've been working on for how long now?
At least a year.
That's cool. So give fans the background, if you could. Just zoom back with us and take us through the whole process.
Yeah, sure. So, the Black Student Athlete Summit is an opportunity for student athletes, staff, and professionals of all walks in life to get some education, some professional development, centering around the Black student athlete experience, but creating a space where all students, all people can kind of improve, either whether it was NIL education, mental health, or overall, development, engage in that way. And I've been going to it for the last couple of years. This past year, it was at Chicago in a hotel. Different because normally this event takes place at campuses, right? And talking with the director of the summit, Dr. Leonard Moore, he was adamant about trying to get back to a campus. He hadn't been to the Pacific Northwest much often, so he flew out here, kind of did a look around, and immediately fell in love with what Oregon had to offer. And we kept talking, and we became the host for this year. So really pumped about it.
Well done. Yeah. I can't imagine the Damon Merkerson sales pitch of why the University of Oregon must have been pretty good, right?
Yeah, I'm throwing out a lot of things, man. I'm throwing out Filberts. I'm throwing out grass seed capital. I'm just a host of random good Oregon information. So
awesome.
That's what I do. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and there's no place like the University of Oregon. We know that. But then for people who haven't experienced it, right, there's some magic to that. I imagine that had to be a selling point.
Yeah, man. I honestly, as he asked about, how is it, one of his questions Dr. Moore asked me is how do I support coaches or talk to coaches when they're recruiting people from different walks of life? And the first thing I say, regardless if it's someone international or someone from, more predominantly, let's say, black area. Eugene, or our goal isn't to make Eugene, Oregon, Atlanta, Georgia, or to make it, Florence, Italy, right? Like our goal is to amplify, all the beautiful things that does exist here, and then create a space where others can bring their own cultures, and we collaborate, right? We don't assimilate. We amplify and make the space where, again, you can continue to be yourself while picking up some new things. And I think Oregon, from a natural beauty standpoint, from a recreational standpoint, and just a great way family values. There are a lot of things here, I think, that are allowed to cultivate in a way that allow people to maintain their identity and who they are, and that's what we do.
Damon Merkerson joining us. A little bit more context on the Black Student Athlete Summit, like. What's the experience like? Like, tell fans about it if you could. What happens at the Black Student Summit?
I'll describe it as an educational and cultural immersion that really highlights some of the points of pride, right? The challenges, where you have student athletes that if they do identify as black, are coming into spaces. A lot of the great universities in our country, are historically predominantly white institutions, and what I mean by that is that historically they weren't immediately allowing people of color to enter those spaces, and the number of students that identify as white are wildly more than the number that identifies black. So this would naturally create some challenges, right? I don't think the institutions are intently trying to continue the challenges, right? But the challenges exist. So the summit is, again, educational experience, talking about strategies to improve that, but also some celebrations, right? I think there's some ways that they keep people engaged, students and staff, that is very unique. Let's say to like a professional conference one might go to, right? This is very community-based. Again, the campus feel makes it unique versus going to like a hotel or a convention center.
Right.
And it gets a chance for students to see the different campuses throughout the country.
How many students are we talking about? How many people are coming?
Anywhere between 800 and 1,000, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
cool.
That's at the height of the summit. I think the largest number they've had has been about 1,500 people.
Wow. That's awesome. May 20th through 23rd, coming up here at the University of Oregon, the Black Student Athlete Summit. The first time that you told me about it, that this was going to be hosted, I went and looked, and you start reading off some of the names of like featured speakers. I was hoping maybe just to touch on this a little bit. Like, there's some impactful people that present at these things.
Yeah, they do a good job getting different, anybody and all people that are in or even around the sport industry. To name a few, Rich Paul. Has come by, Matt Barnes they've had speak at the summit before, Baron Davis, Jamel Hill. I mean, the list goes on. Jess Sims from College Football Game Day, and the summit has built a really good reputation and relationship with people who really want to help impact student athletes, be mentors. Students have gained internships every year. Have gained internships and/or jobs from this. And then now it's with NIL being newer in the college athletics, they've created this space where NIL now education becomes an opportunity as well.
Well, and even talking about some of the things that this is for, right? Like certainly for student athletes, but you talk about like entrepreneurship and innovation. That's a big part of the student athlete community these days.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a part of completing the holistic development, right? We take these students into our athletic departments, and we obviously want them to come out and be productive citizens, but we also want to equip them with tools that is unique to athletic departments, right? A student might be in the School of Journalism, right? But here in the School of Oregon Athletics, right? They're going to still learn, by connection branding, right? They're going to learn connection about understanding how to promote themselves, right? Understanding how games work. And I think the summit harnesses that in a way that allows them to be like a third party, where they bring different people to focus on those topics.
Well, and what a great opportunity for Oregon student athletes.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, just to put that in perspective, like it's here at the campus. I mean, what a value that must be. I imagine the interest level is probably high from the students.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's we obviously have our things we do really, really well, right? And I think we've had a great student athlete participation at this summit every year, when it was at Rice, UT Austin or USC. So our students are kind of hyped now to show like what this is going to look like when they get here to see the Oregon way, right?
That's really cool. That's really cool. Black Student Athlete Summit. And this is not the only big event around Oregon athletics and for student athletes, because also something coming up in July that I wanted to have you tell fans about.
Yeah, man. Really pumped about this too. It's the Big Ten has this cultural awareness trip that I've talked about called the Big Life Series. They've done it at Selma, Alabama. They've done it at the University of Iowa, and next up is the University of Oregon.
Let's
right?
go,
or the state of Oregon, I should say. We're gonna fly all student athletes and staff from all 18 Big Ten institutions to Portland, Oregon, to do the Pacific Northwest experience, where we're gonna have a lot of different cultural education, learn about the Pacific Northwest Way, highlight some different cultural education pieces around Native Americans, Black history, and Japanese American history.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
See, and you come in July, you picked a good time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be
a good
nice
time.
weather, good. Get some good food, some good eats.
Right. And this is another one of those examples of the whole holistic experience,
Yeah.
right? Like you talk about the benefit of being a student athlete, for example, in the Big Ten. Something the Big Ten values is experiences like this.
Yeah, man, and they value their membership, right? I think that's really unique too, right? They'll do trips, they do career trips, they do trips where they go to other places, but really taking time to explore their footprint, right? Because as a new member of the Big Ten, right, our student athletes that come from everywhere anyway, now have extension in pipelines to the New York area, right?
Right.
Or vice versa to the Pacific Northwest, right?
Right.
So it's I think it's really smart strategically from them, but also really cool for the athletes who sometimes that trip to the competing place is just hotel, field, plane, right? So now we're going to get to actually walk around and explore the state or city. You traveling to competing once or twice a year.
That's Senior Associate Athletic Director Damo Merkerson sitting down with Joey Mack. We're going to pause, take a time out. When we come back, part 2 of the conversation. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial.
Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
I want you to know. I said I want you to know right now. You've been good to me, baby.
We're back at the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Damo Merkerson, Senior Associate Athletic Director, stopped by yesterday, recorded a segment with Joey Mack. Here's part 2 of that conversation here.
Well, this is such a huge part of your day-to-day, if I could just remind fans of, like, the engagement. And that's not true just at the University of Oregon Athletic Department, right? It's that belief in the networking that's really valuable in this space, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, we obviously want to compete with these other places, right? But I think to amplify the experiences of our students, I have to think in a team mentality even across the conference, right? How can what's happening over there amplify and improve or be an extension? Whether it's, talking with Katie Harbour in our department about what career opportunities exist in those spaces, right? How are we collaborating internally and then externally in that way? And I think it's been really fun because I have some great peers in this field to help support.
Well, and Katie Harbour deserves a huge shout-out, as always. For those of you that have never heard her on the show, like you talk about the full student-athlete experience and the support. Katie, I mean, I'm telling you, some of the best resumes I've ever read have come because Katie's like, no, this is going to be a how you make a good resume. Because not everyone's going to go pro in a sport.
Right.
So that whole experience is valuable, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the foundation, and I think about where people will be at or what the end goal is, or even at the end goal, where's the new beginning going to come from? All of them trace back to some type of collaboration with Katie, or when they return, they come back, right? They want to connect after they've gone out and experienced their athletic life. Katie is a veteran here in the department, a gener. She's from the gene, and she's she's really, really knowledgeable, and I appreciate everything she does.
Yeah. All right, we want to talk about another huge opportunity. Just recently announced this week, Oregon football heading to Tokyo. This is pretty cool.
I'm so jealous. In my past careers, I've actually done a trip similar to this.
Oh, cool.
That brand. I mean, that's what we do with the brand. But yeah. I've done a trip like this before with a football team, and it was an incredible, life-changing experience. The culture out there is so beautiful, right? Very friendly. One of the cleanest places I've ever been.
Really?
Was Tokyo, Japan. Yeah, and big fan. I don't even know if I should say this, but of Kill Bill. So when I was out there, I went to the sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes is.
Yeah.
Man, that thing was fire, man. I had some great sushi. Yeah. Randall.
Scott Phillips, big fan.
Oh, Scott.
Go.
Let's
I'm
go.
telling you, he would absolutely.
Man, I swear, all I was missing was my yellow fit. I wish I had the yellow fit. I could throw it on, and I'd have took pictures of that thing, man.
So we got to get you back out there.
Yeah, I know. Somebody sneak me on the trip, man. Damn.
Find a way.
Help me out.
Help him out. This is such a cool collaboration, too, though. I mean, you talk about, like, the growth of the game of football, right? It's much more international now than 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, we've done a great job here in the States, obviously, expanding it, and it's reached different people, right? Like, and what I think, from what I remember on the trip last time I went there, those universities, those spaces are really they take the feedback and they want to just figure out how to implement it. Now, obviously, higher education is structured differently for them, but this is a tremendous opportunity for us to be a leader in this space.
And, well, that's what Oregon does.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you talk about, like, the scope of your role, Damone. I mean, culture, engagement, like, that's a large responsibility base, And so well, go ahead.
No. It's not all me by myself. I should make that very, very clear, right? I have some great, partners from the senior staff as well as the coaches and managers that lead different units. But what it really means is identifying ways that we are, able to amplify and improve everybody's experience. And that starts with leadership, right? How are we leading? How are we being intentional with whatever barriers that might exist and being sure that we don't create any barriers for people. So that's the staff side. From the student standpoint, it's working closely with Katie Harbour, who we mentioned already, making sure our programming is inclusive as possible and widescaping. And then it's working with campus, which we do climate surveys, right? We just did one this past couple months, and now we're already getting ready to start implementing some of the solutions to address some of the challenges our department might be facing. And I think, again, you don't do anything like that without working really, really well with everybody and understanding where your areas of growth might be.
Well, to that point, you knew where I was going with this because so many coaches, right? We hear like, oh, culture is the most overused word in football. Like, you've heard people say this, but it's like, all right, well, okay, but then there's the engagement part. And in order to build that culture, you have to engage in different ways, right? I don't know. I've just always felt like it's so critical to talk about both of those things connected together.
Yeah. I mean, listen, culture, it overused maybe, but I mean, it exists,
important.
right? It exists. And engagement in its broadest senses, just being active with the people that you serve, that you support, but also making sure that they, they feel valued, right? They feel valued, they understand that. And there's a lot of parallels between students and staff in that regards. And a lot of it is just about listening to people, right? A lot of it is about taking action when you can, and then making the big items small, right? Sure. I think you got to make things small so that you can track it, but you need to be able to identify it, right? The wind, I can't see the wind, but or air, but it's there.
It's there.
It's super important. I know it, right?
That's right.
So I think from a coach thinking about culture, it's similar in terms of like, all right, we got to make this into something as tangible as possible because
makes sense.
It's crucial. That's what we do.
Damon Merkerson, Senior Associate Athletic Director, Culture and Engagement. Also, the sport administrator is part of your duties for a couple teams. A spring season is underway for Oregon soccer. Already excited for the fall?
Yep. Pumped, man. Pumped. We have some 3 spring games already so far. Won them all. We don't keep score, but we won. We won. Right? So team's looking really good. Tracy entering year 2, really laying down her culture.
That's right.
Right, yeah, really laying down her culture and bringing what she's done at every other place that she's done, getting the athletes excited about the sport, excited about working with each other and being competitive, right? Competing is a part of the college athlete experience. So very, very pumped to see what we end up doing in the fall.
Also, men's tennis, another sport that you work with. You talk about culture. Well, Nils Sheelander knows something about the culture around here.
Man, Nils is a vet, man. It's such an honor to work with him. He really gets it, understanding, grounded, and really cares about his students. They made it to the Big Ten tournament, fell short, but man, the way that his players just kind of like spoke about him, spoke about what they meant to each other, especially how last season ending, the recruiting he needed to do to rebuild that roster. It's incredible the connection that those young men built in that short time, man. So he's going to continue to push the envelope, and we're going to continue to get better.
What did we miss? I feel like we covered a lot. I mean, that was a long time.
Yeah.
What else should fans know, though, Dave?
What else should fans know? I mean, I don't know. Well, so my son is doing great. Fans know my son.
That's
my
right.
Son's doing, that's my wife and son. Let me make sure it's clear. Those most important things in my life.
See, culture.
Catherine.
That's right.
Rodriguez and Amari. My son. They're doing really good. I was telling her about we took a plane ride not too long ago. It was a miserable experience, and yet we made it. He's 13 months, and we made it. We made it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I didn't know that we would talk about the flight, but, here we are. Look, that's a life skill right there.
Oh, listen, I respect for anybody that does that by themselves, any parent, because you were telling me a story earlier about a parent doing that and carrying this to myself. Listen, I commend you, because if it's me, I'm not packing anything for myself to save on holding bags. Like, it will be the clothes I got on my body, the diaper bag, and whatever small suitcase he needs, because just carrying that through the airport
That's plenty.
Is stressful in and of itself.
It's plenty. Shout out to all parents everywhere.
Shout out,
that's
man.
right.
Shout out to parents, man.
Damon Merkerson, Senior Associate Athletic Director, Culture and Engagement. I wanted to leave you with this, Damon. Just the Black Student Athlete Summit coming up. We're a little less than a month away now, May 20th through 23rd. Just to come full circle on that subject and what it's going to mean to have that here for you and for the student athletes.
Yeah, again, I think while Black Student Athletes is the focus, in terms of the content, it's an event that is truly for everybody, right? Truly for everyone to learn and engage in. And attending that summit for the first time in 2016 was pivotal for my own career. Mentors I met there actually, helped me envision the job that I found myself in today. Wow. So without it, I know I'm not at Oregon, So I hope that it can, as we host it, we can provide that same level of transformation for students and staff that are able to attend it, in May.
It's awesome. Black Student Athlete Summit coming to the University of Oregon. Damon Merkerson, thank you, sir.
Yes,
appreciate you taking the time. We'll see you soon.
Let's go.
Awesome conversation right there with Senior Associate Athletic Director Damon Merkerson. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, Oregon Women's Golf is postseason bound. Shout out to Derek Ragley's squad. We'll tell you who and where they're playing at when we come back here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Final segment of Duck Insider here in the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. We just found out a couple of minutes ago that Oregon women's golf is postseason bound. Ducks are the number 2 seed in the Waco Regional. This will be their 18th consecutive NCAA Regional appearance after being selected as the number 2 seed coming up in the Waco Regional on Wednesday. Derek Ragley saying, it's always exciting to hear your name during the selection show. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to head to Waco with a chance to compete for a spot at the NCAA Championships. Our team has worked hard all season long, and this selection is a reflection of the effort and focus they have put since the start of the fall. They're excited to see what they can do. Waco Regional. It's pretty good right there. Good place to go play in Texas as well. Ducks, best of luck to them, Derek Ragley's squad. As mentioned before, busy weekend coming up for Oregon Diamond Sports, Oregon Baseball, going to be on the road at Washington. Joy will have the call here on the Oregon Sports Network. Also, Oregon Softball coming up against UCLA. This is a big-time matchup. Talked about earlier, really, that Ducks are going against a heavyweight hitter in the Big Ten in terms of UCLA. The Bruins right now, top of the Big Ten with 160-plus home runs. And you heard from Coach Lombardi as well that they're going to have to keep the ball in the yard. Against Ohio State, you can kind of see the home runs start to pile up. It's really tough to defend when the ball is hit out of the yard. That's going to be a key for the Ducks this weekend. Also the pitching as well. Ducks do have their full roster available. Could make it interesting this past weekend. It should be a fun weekend on the Diamond Sports for both sides. A lot going around the University of Oregon. Ryan's got you tomorrow. A ton of football interviews as well as with Oregon baseball, breaking down their win over Gonzaga. And, well, the weather's getting better. A lot going right here in Oregon Athletics. Ryan's got you tomorrow. That'll do it for us here today inside the Country Financial Studio. Go Ducks, everybody.
Don't act like that. Don't wear that. Don't think that. I've heard everything you tell yourself every time you felt different. And I want you to know that you can be vulnerable and powerful.